What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Craving Cowboys. As you know, it's your girl Mickey. I'm back from holiday break. I finally feel rested. Sorry for I've been away from you guys for a little bit, but welcome back. Glad to have you guys in the building. What's going on, Kelvin Hicks? First in the building. Yep, here we go. And we started to hear everybody say that now. All of a sudden, we've been noticing Dax cadence really from training camp. If you guys been following Cowboys, as you guys been following them. Now a lot of the media are starting to catch on the Dax cadence, just how important it is to this offense. And as you see, how he's using it to kind of have influence with the line of scrimmage, and we just see his game kind of progressing or already just from where it was. My girl DC in the chat, what's going on? And of course, Splendor Poppy Bella, aka Joey Bella. What's up, fam? Everybody in the building, welcome everybody. Just everybody, hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving, having a good holiday season so far. Of course, going in December, I believe this Friday. I think the Friday is the first. Just crazy how fast this time has really been going. Really been going by really since September. And I was telling my dad this morning. Ever since really Halloween, late October, everything's just really been flying by. But just happy to be back. Happy to see you guys in the building. As you guys know, just for me personally, I know, the holiday season starting up. It's getting busy, just for me personally, if you've been following me long enough, I work in the post office, and the volume goes up, the mail goes up, packages go up, and really other carriers out there too. Amazon, you see people out there late at night delivering, FedEx, UPS, anybody out there, delivering, make sure you bundle up, stay safe, prayers to y'all, shout out to y'all for doing what y'all do. I know what y'all going through. Anybody out there listening, thank your local mail carrier, and just any carrier you come in contact with, because you can best believe they're working their ass off out there. So just hi to everybody. Hey, what's up, my fave in the building? What's up, Swain? So happy to see you, fam. So happy to see you. I ain't gonna lie, very happy to see you, fam. I was thinking about you earlier today. I kind of hopped in this morning in Sky's chat real quick. I saw you chatting back and forth, but I didn't have time. I was really just trying to put my show together for tonight, and about I had time to really say anything, but it really just been busy in general. So very happy to see you, fam. Good to see you. Somebody new Hazy or Hazy Hayes or Hazy Has, let me know. He says everyone wants to here we go all of a sudden leave it to Dak. Yeah, I know, right? Leave it to Dak to start just any trend, if you want to be honest, like I said, it's like you said, like I said, everyone, we've been noticing that since training camp. And I think he kind of, correct me if I'm wrong, I think he kind of had that last year, but we didn't really hear it that often. And, of course, last year, really Kellen Moore's offense. So, Dak didn't really have the control he has this year, but just seeing, just how much he's kind of leaving his imprint on this offense and on this team, and that, as just becoming an influence, and everyone's kind of catching on all of a sudden. So Poppy says, he said, he literally just pulled up in here. Yep, yeah, everybody just come on in. We just chilling, real still, the holiday feel, still, filling up on food. That's really why I like the holiday season. I just like the excuse to, be able to eat, any time of the day, day or night, or even if, even drink every now and then, it ain't got to work the next day, but, let's start talking about, personal stuff. Let's get back to, the Cowboys, as you guys like talking about Dak, he's gonna be a dad soon. Congrats to him and his girl Sarah Jane. They're gonna be a family soon. Good Cowboys news. I just saw on Twitter that they're still thinking about opening up Peyton, or they opened up this practice window, Peyton Hendershot, but they're not sure if they're gonna activate him off IR yet. So hey, prayers to him. Hopefully he's able to come back, because I know it's still. It's still about mid-season going into like the third trimester, and he can still very well have good impact on this team if he's able to kind of catch on with the offense and really just I think he has the potential. I know he's been kind of making mistakes in camp and didn't really have that great of a start to the season, but kind of if he's been able to get a hold of this offense, behind closed doors, if you will, while he's been on IR, still be able to study the offense. He can come right in with his skills. We know that he hasn't been the greatest blocker, but he can catch him once he starts, make his catches and get his confidence back. I think he can have, and even step up in his blocking. We can see more 12, 13%, and really maybe even see this this offense step up even further. So yeah, I just want to kind of bring my thoughts over the last couple games, and really just how when I'm thinking of the Cowboys, how things have been going the past couple of weeks. Of course, it's kind of old news now, but just since I've last been on here, about the Ring of Honor, Jimmy Johnson finally going in. Just want to think of some other news. A Shaq Leonard or Darius Leonard, is visiting, visited with us yesterday, and I think today was visiting with the Eagles. So hopefully, he said, like he said, he's going to visit with the Eagles regardless. But hopefully, he'll end up, coming here to the Cowboys. Of course, we could definitely use, like we kind of talked about in our previous shows. Me and Star. Actually, before I really get into it, there isn't going to be a Star Chasers tonight. A Star had to catch up with some work stuff, but we are going to try to push to have a show this Friday evening. So make sure you guys, keep your notifications on. And she apologizes for not being able to go live tonight. And I definitely understand. I told her, hey man, like I mentioned earlier, work, especially this time around the holidays, definitely gets, just the time in general gets crazy. So we can try to catch up with you guys on this Friday. But yeah, like me and her talked about on previous shows, just kind of having that veteran presence in all of our rooms. We brought in Gilmore. We also brought in Cooks. He has that veteran presence in the wide receiver room. So just being able, and we talked about before, Zach Martin having his influence, in the offensive line. When he finally came in, we saw T.J. Bass's game step up. We saw Awesome Richards step up, because he was kind of struggling in camp, but he was actually, able to get, his feet underneath them and able to, elevate his game as well. So I think just, Marquise Bell is doing great. Damone Clark is doing great as well. They definitely had some, they had, I think Clark had his best game. Or saying he had his best game against Washington, and he definitely stepped up against the Panthers as well. Being high on the tackle chart, still, making his impact on the team, still being the ball hawk that he is. But just being able to bring in, a potential Shaq Leonard, being able to add to our team, and being able to bring his veteran presence in that room, just being able to elevate the defense even further, if that's even possible. We have playmakers, at every position, and just be able to add that depth, would be, I think would be very great, because we did see, Bell. Speaking of Bell, we did see him, kind of get nicked up in the Washington game. I think it was I think maybe in the second quarter, maybe right before halftime. I think they said he or maybe early third. They said he ended up with a stinger, so he kind of sat out for a little bit. So, and we know he's kind of, he's, I think about 204, 205. So he's kind of light. He had to make that, that transition over the linebacker. So just being able to, to bring in, Shaq Leonard, just being able to bring that veteran experience in that room, and being able to, help Clark and Bell elevate their game even more. I think that would be great, for our linebacker room. And Swain says if Shaq was smart, he would side with us. Yeah, because we do play them in a couple weeks. We don't need him to be that Pro Bowl vet like he was with the other team. We got dogs out there. We just need Shaq to help better or best. Yeah, I agree. Just like Evans, for real. Like when he came in, we didn't see him. He didn't come in right away, but when he was finally able to get on the field, we did see his impact. We see him making tackles for losses. We see him getting in the backfield or assisting with tackles. Or even against Washington, we saw him, in previous games as well, getting in the game and involved early. Especially with LVE being out for the season. So just being able to, if we were able to bring in Evans, if he was able to make an impact, almost instantly, even in the last game when Bell did, unfortunately go down for a little bit, he stepped out the game and Evans came in. I think the next play or a couple plays later, he was able to assist with the tackle on the running back. So just seeing that he can make an impact on our linebacker room, is, it'll be amazing not just on the field, but also off the field, and just being able to talk, and able to, coach these young guys coming up trying to make, trying to elevate their game. He says if he's concerned about his health and healing, come to Dallas with the best medical team. Yeah, of course. And I think I was listening to Landlords and West Coast and Henny show earlier, and we have the best medical staff. And I learned from Henny that the other players come here not just to play, but they come here to get help by the medical staff that we have. Because they're that successful, they're that well known within the league. What I'm saying? So it's. Yeah, just like other things in the league, like are well known, like we see over in off season when Michael Parsons was at Von Miller's, camp, learning from him, or going to other vets that have played in the NFL. So I think it's not just about the off season is not just about rivalries and things like that. Other players are out there to help other players, get through certain scenarios. So when you find out about programs like that, or when you find out like the medical staff that they have there in Dallas, it's just great that they have that kind of reputation and that players can trust that, and even when they're playing here, know that, or before they do start playing, that they will have a fair evaluation. Double R in the building. What's up, fam? Good to see you. Good to see you. I missed you, fam. I'm very happy to see you. Good to see you. My fave's in the building tonight. Let me see. Speaking of fave, he says, how do we feel about bringing in Marcus Peters, or could he be a locker room cancel? And before I get started, what's up, James Simmons in the field and in the building as well? How you doing, fam? Good to see you. I think he would be, honestly, before he went to, I think, when did he go to the Ravens? Or did he go to the Raiders, I think, after he left the Ravens? I wanted him before he went to the Raiders. Not necessarily high on the list before we got Gilmore, but he's definitely a name. And, I was familiar with him with how he played when he was with the Ravens. So, and I wouldn't say a cancer to the room, because I think when you come to, especially seeing how, how the Cowboys are playing, you come to an environment like that, I don't think anyone would come in, with an attitude that they're higher than anybody, especially when you see the atmosphere that we're already, the kind of culture that McCarthy has already kind of started to build, here. So I think they'll, I don't think he would be a cancer at all. I think veterans, like, as far as time, I think they kind of change their attitude, just in general. They know they're getting older. They know they want to win. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they would just come with that mentality like they got to do this, they got to do that, or I have to do this. It's not necessarily about I. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that Marcus Peters is a all about I type of person, but they know that they know that the kind of culture, and anybody with eyes can see the kind of culture that McCarthy has kind of built since he's got here. And I'm sure once they get into the actual locker room and see the culture that they're building, I'm sure when Martavis Bryant came on, I'm sure when Evans came in, I'm sure that those were, and I would even say, even with Leonard, coming in visiting, even though having to go visit with the Eagles. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure that was kind of that can be kind of a plus coming into an environment like this, to see the kind of culture that they built. Let me bring my show right quick to you guys and go ahead and get started with my show. Yeah, so as we know, just these past couple of weeks we've gone against teams who haven't been, of course, over 500, quote unquote, teams who are lesser than us or lesser than the Cowboys, and so now we're finally hitting this, the slate in the season where they're facing, above 500 teams. The Seahawks are right now 6-5. Of course, after they play the Eagles. After that, I believe it's Bills, Miami, and then the Lions, and of course, Commanders for the last game. So it's easy to think that, well, I don't know, just based off past experience, being a Cowboys fan for myself, we kind of had the experience of when we play lesser teams, we play down to the competition, but when we actually play, playoff contending teams, they actually play pretty well. So I would think that, it would be the same kind of thought, to stand here. But now all of a sudden it's a question of how the Cowboys are going to perform against, above 500 teams, when in the past they've actually played up to competition when they actually, go against, playoff caliber teams. Even last year when they played the Green Bay, Kellen Moore did a decent job play calling. And sometimes, he made boneheaded decisions, and you see it cost us down the line. But I think, of course, it's different this year. We see what kind of game McCarthy is calling. So I think that we can still kind of go into this latest schedule right here with the same kind of thought that they could still elevate their game against these teams. But this time we'll be smarter in these situations. And, we have McCarthy, who has shown that even against lesser teams, he's not afraid to, even against Washington, we saw how aggressive he was coming out, with that, immediately going down the field. The first play of the game on offense, was pass. You know what I mean? And in previous games, that was actually, and that's kind of the question now, kind of going into the same game of how they're going to, can they get early starts? Are they going to come out aggressive? But I think that I'm hoping, like, from how they play against Washington, I'm hoping that's how they come out, against these teams coming up here, because I think if they come out aggressive and just come out fast and come out, attack early and often, as I'm going to mention later on in the show, I think that they'll be able to score early and actually be able to kind of get the rhythm going earlier. To be able to be able to start dominant and remain dominant against these teams that have coming up. And that is for damn sure. Babe, no more damn Wildcats. Like, speaking of that, I know that they said there were some Wildcat formations in the Carolina game, and actually from the Carolina game, me and my dad, we drove in, because I stay out here in Virginia, and so we drove because it's about 4 or 5 hour drive down there, and traffic was just so incredibly, just horrendous. So many Cowboys fans coming in, so traffic was crazy. So we actually didn't get in, until like right at halftime. So we saw the third and fourth quarter. So I kind of missed like the in person, seeing the Wildcat formations. But watching the game back, and actually seeing, I'm like, I was kind of like, did I miss? This is what I missed. I missed them lining up in Wildcat, and I was just, when I watched that back, babe, I was just like, wow, like they actually tried it, and I'm like, but I mean, what I will say about that is that, it was against the Panthers, number one, and so I don't mind them trying, but like McCarthy will say, as long as they have kind of like that lead, we had that 2 or 3 score lead, I don't mind us trying things, because I mean, hey, we want to get into this number one, this playoff stretch right here, and then we do, eventually get to the playoffs. We're gonna have to, have some different ideas. So I don't mind them trying things, but it was definitely odd and different. We definitely don't see it often. We see that with other teams when they're like in Wildcat. It's like, okay. We even see the Titans do it. My dad doesn't see with the Titans from Tennessee. So every now and then we'll see, Derrick Henry line up in Wildcat. I'm like, okay, well, that's something they do. When I went to see us do it, I was definitely like thrown poorly. Before I go any further, let me see. I see my fam, Sports Junkie jumped in. What's up, fam? How you doing? Very good to see you, fam. My other brother, Bruce, the Toxic Juice, was up. What's up? Yeah, you were absolutely 100% right, fam. Seahawks are about to get all this work, and I hope they're ready for it. Look, they salute to Geno Smith. He's definitely showing he's tough. Even fighting through that elbow injury he got, and I actually seen, I forget who they were playing against. I actually seen the elbow, when he actually went down with the elbow injury. I thought it was going to be his shoulder, the way he kind of came down, but unfortunately it was his elbow. I ended up finding out later on when I was able to catch up, but. Hopefully, I just see he's fighting through it. He did play against the 49ers, and they got. I didn't watch the entire game, but I had to work the next day. I had to get up early, so. But that was crazy, and he even and I think it's just hearing the past game when they played against the 49ers. The Seahawks just seem to have a tough time against them. I think they said. The Seahawks took Geno took 6 sacks in the first game they played the 49ers. And then in this past game, Geno took 4 sacks. So I'm like, man, I don't know if their offensive line just struggles against the 49ers or, what I'm saying? There's, I think it's about 17 more sacks, to account for the rest of the season. So it's just, Geno is, definitely one of the most sacked quarterbacks, I think, so far. I'm not sure the number, but his number is definitely up there. I think he has 27 sacks right now, on the season. So, like I said, salute to him for fighting through it, because and actually just looking at it, the Seahawks have actually been kind of on a similar schedule to us. If you guys look at it, because they played the previous Sunday, and then they played last week Thursday for Thanksgiving, and then they're playing we play each other on this Thursday evening. So. They have the same schedule. Last week they played the 49ers. They got pretty beat up. So I'm sure I'm sure I know all the NFL players are tired, but it's kind of that's just another thought to kind of something else to kind of add to the game. Like they're on almost the exact same schedule that we're on. We kind of they kind of talk about it annually with the Cowboys having this kind of stretch around their holiday season. So it's kind of interesting to see a team, kind of going along the same, kind of taking the same path to where we are now. Let me see. Bruce says, "I hope Amazon ain't breaking y'all back this season." That's crazy you say that, especially with the game being on Amazon Prime tomorrow. I thought I was just like, that's. I mean, it's not. I wouldn't say it's breaking our back. You know what I'm saying? But because there have been, previous years where we had to make like 2 or 3 trips because the amount of packages we're getting is, literally filling our trucks. So if you guys see, the little, white mail trucks on the street, just imagine that whole truck, just being filled with Amazon packages. It's crazy. Definitely easier now, you know what I'm saying? But, I'm sure, we're going to, feel some kind of, heaviness from Amazon and other, other stores out there. But, and definitely thankful. Like I said, definitely thankful to have the job. You know what I'm saying? It's, that overtime is going to help me out. And, I promise you that. You know what I'm saying? But and shout out to them, because they're gonna host our game tomorrow night. Amazon Prime, you guys, tomorrow Thursday night, Thursday night football is always on Amazon Prime. So shout out to them. Hosting the Cowboys game. We're gonna have another home win. Hopefully against these Seahawks. So get started. Just kind of want to point out, just some good things about our offense, our defense, and I think also down the line, just want to talk a little bit about just the culture that Mike McCarthy has kind of built, kind of alongside Dan Quinn as well. Having him come back for his third year definitely helps with the continuity of this team, and as we see with the players as well, Osa is having really, his best year. He just I think every year we see he's having his best year because just seeing him progress every year, as me and Star were talking about, he's just continuously building on what he's, as on what he's done the year before. He's, just having an amazing year this year. So I think that just, just another, just another credit to having, Dan Quinn back for another year was definitely him coming back. Hey, what's up, Tavis? How you doing? Definitely good to see you. Good to see you. Oh my gosh, Bruce says, he said, I feel your pain. I work at a hospital and those things never sleep. What things never sleep? Oh, if you talking about Amazon, yeah, Amazon, yeah, definitely Amazon never sleep. Like, what you talking about? Like they 24/7 for real. Some places, I know some places they have same day delivery. Like I don't know how they're pulling that off, but it's one thing to have next day delivery, but same day delivery, like I don't know how they're doing that. But shout out to them. But yeah, like I said, like we were first talking about the offense, defense, and like I said, I think the culture is really what's really the backbone of this season. Honestly, like we see in previous seasons where they try to have the offense, and I think in previous seasons we didn't have this connect between offense and defense. I think that's why at times it could have been static. Like Dak, really playing great, but the defense, couldn't stop the run game for the other side, or the defense would be playing well, but Dak would be off. So we just never kind of had, like, in my opinion, just like straight communication with the offense and defense. And I just think like the lock between McCarthy and Quinn is very important, and it also creates relationships, but amongst the other players. Like you see, everyone is tight with each other. No matter, of course we're going to expect that with the locker room, everyone's in the same locker room, but just the communication, just the trust they have with each other. We heard earlier in the season about, Dak having such a strong relationship with Al Harris. If you guys see on the intro, when I was at the 49er game, I was able to catch a pregame. If you guys see, Dak was talking to Al Harris pregame, and I'm sure asking, how maybe to attack the defense. And I'm sure like when they have the across the hall, when they're able to connect. That's mostly when the offense and defense are able to connect with each other. They actually, critique each other, how they would attack each other, at certain points on the field. So I think that just kind of, just another way that they've been able to build these kind of relationships with each other, and also have that comfortability with each other to be able to tell, what the other players are doing wrong, and not to be able to, not having that mentality of thinking that the next man is trying to take my job. It's the mentality of, okay, they're trying to help me do this. They're trying to help the team. We're all trying to get to this one goal. We all talk about this one goal that they're trying to get to, that trophy at the end of the season. So it's good to see that they're able to build those relationships and build that it's because they want to help build the team, and not just because each man is for themselves, or they're worried about numbers, or, because that used to be a big thing. At the same time, they do want to get those numbers because, we saw CD, asking for the ball early in the season. But we see how that's impacting the team for the better. But at the same time, it's not always about that one person. I was listening to McCarthy. If you guys watch the Mike McCarthy show, I actually want to play a snippet of it where he is kind of coming more into play about what the identity is of this team. And I think we're kind of coming to know that this identity of this team is McCarthy says it is ball distribution, where everyone is getting a chance to to get the ball and just kind of use their talents to kind of contribute to the team. Oh, what's up, JC? Good to see you, fam. What's up? Good to see you, fam, in the building, man. Always gotta show you love. What's up? What's up? New face in the building, Roger Frazier. What's up? He said, I think the Cowboys can run the table. If we can translate this play that we have against the less than 500 teams, to these playoff teams, we definitely can make a run. Like, no question. No question. Bruce says, I wonder how much the offense has changed now from Kellen Moore's system. It's definitely more than 30%. And I'm glad you brought that up because, like I just mentioned, how McCarthy says that their identity now is ball distribution. And I kind of like laughed a little bit because inside the Dallas Cowboy, I would see a lot of Kellen's press conferences through his channel because I really could never myself watch watch Kellen's pressers because he would just, I'm sorry, no offense, but boring. And I just never felt like he really offered anything. He never talked about his offense. And he was just kind of like, oh, okay, I messed up here, or we just laugh things off. So I could just never really take him serious, just honestly. So most of the time when I also play Kellen's press conferences and I would hear what he had to say. So, and he would kind of mention that, okay, we're not, focused on this one player. We're not trying to get this one player the ball all the time. So it's funny that McCarthy is kind of, I don't want to say return to that concept, but he's kind of using that concept. But we now actually have the playmakers, what I'm saying, to be able to distribute that ball, and everyone can actually, give their talents, to be able to move the ball downfield. Actually, let me see if I can bring this clip right quick. You guys just bear with me right quick. Oh goodness, give me 1 second, you guys. Hold on. Let me see. Nisi says Kellen was personable. He called the receivers the players. I mean, yeah, he never, and as you can see, he never really. He even said himself he never truly focused on one player. Even when they talk about trying to get Amari the ball, or even when CD was becoming the number one before he never even primarily focused on getting CD the ball. And so I can only imagine if he was here for another year, and we're still trying to get CD the ball. But now we actually have even if we were spreading the ball around before, we had Noah Brown, we had Dennis Houston. We didn't have the playmakers that we necessarily have on the team today. So it is good to see that we, number one, have the playmakers, but at the same time, we also have, the ability to spread the ball around and it's able to build the confidence of not only the players, but, Dak as a quarterback, Mike McCarthy as a play caller to know that he can go back to a Tolbert, even if he drops the ball, or if he can go back to even Jake Ferguson, or even maybe down the line of Peyton Hendershot if he does drop the ball, or even Scoopmaker if he drops the ball, we can go back to a Scoopmaker knowing that he can still, make a catch. And we even saw Scoopmaker breaking tackles. I think in the Washington game, for me, it was definitely good to see that because I think that shows another step, in the progression of this game. All right, so let me bring this up.
But yeah, Dak's playing extremely high. Dak was, I thought he was exceptional, particularly.
Okay, so this clip is actually, like I mentioned earlier, this is the clip at the end of the Mike McCarthy show, and they actually did this interview at the end of the Washington game, right outside of, actually right in this, I think it's still in the stadium. So he's actually talking with I forget his name right now, but he's actually talking with the interviewer now.
In the red zone, the goal zone area. So, but yeah, it's it's fun when you're hitting on your plays and getting into a groove. But yeah, Dak's playing at an extremely high level.
You look at the first half of this game, and you only had 4 possessions in the first half and scored touchdowns on 3 of them, and there were 9 different receivers that caught balls in that first half.
Well, that's who we are, Bill. I mean, we talk about it every week. Our ball distribution, I mean, that's a fabric of how we play and the importance of getting the ball distributed. I mean, we want to be north of 80% of our plays where the ball is just distributed, and Dak does a great job adhering to that, and not forcing the ball to a particular player. And then our job as coaches is to make sure we're giving the ball's getting spread around, or at least trying to get it spread around. So Dak's doing a great job in that area.
And it was
Yeah, so as you guys heard, like McCarthy said, like they're trying to get the ball to, all their playmakers. Even that's been the case since the beginning of the season. So just actually see, because we started out with just, I would say, certain playmakers. We started out with Ferguson, trying to get him going. We started out with CD, trying to get him going. And we started. We even saw Turpin in some situations that taking snaps in the backfield, going for the touchdown, or we see him taking, even just the other with the Washington game, we saw him take that long pass down the seam, saying, and even go routes that we've seen them use his speed. I think we've seen him use on the screen once, a few games. I think in the Patriots game, I think, or even a few games back, just seeing him be able to use his speed, to his advantage and to our advantage. Just seeing our playmakers step up. And he actually has another quote just a little bit further down here about Turpin. And I just love that, just in my opinion. It seems like McCarthy has made it just such a point to get Turpin involved this year. And even, even before getting Brandon Cooks involved, because we, as we've seen Cowboys fans pretty much fighting, for Brandon Cooks, to get involved. So, and even so for McCarthy to get Turpin more involved before Cooks, so that kind of says something, because Cooks is actually technically the number 2 receiver, but just Turpin was a receiver. I just think just in my opinion, it's just what I'm thinking. I think he just made it a point this year to get him involved because Kellen used him so little last year. I think, and as he mentions later on, just in this snippet right here, that he had so much to offer, and there's just I think it was just such a shame. I think I think even now, just so far, as much as we use Turpin, we haven't used him even 50% of the time. So I think it's just a point that even if you do, use Turpin, once or twice here, even just a snap in the backfield, just even 3, because even in the last game, I think Rico had 3 carries and he made an impact. So just imagine giving Turpin 3 to 5 even touches on the ball and him having an impact. So even him having him involved, even in Kellen Moore's offense last year, could have made a difference here or there in the San Fran game. You know what I'm saying? Or even, I think that could have elevated us to another level. You know what I'm saying? So I think McCarthy just made it a point to kind of get Turpin involved just a little bit more this season.
20-10 lead going into the fourth quarter. One of the guys that scored touchdowns in that fourth quarter, Cavante Turpin, and it was fun to see that. And I know he's a guy that you've been trying to get the ball to throughout the season.
I mean, everybody has love for Turpin, and I'm just so proud of him, and to see him, make that transition from returner to receiver, because he has so much more to offer. And in the respect that he has in the locker room speaks volumes. It speaks volumes to me, because everybody knows, when this guy gets the ball in his hands, there's a chance he can take it to the end zone every time. And he's done a great job, particularly in the number 2 and the number 3 position inside with his vertical routes. So he's doing a great job. And really, I mean, that's a perfect route he ran there, and safety tried to play over top to Brandon, and he's right where he's supposed to be. So really proud of him.
All right, we're just getting started.
Yeah, so as you guys can see, I just think he just took oh my God, what's going on, landlord? Good to see you, fam. Hey, once again, look, I love, when people get to celebrate their birthdays, it's because I know it's my favorite day of the year. Happy birthday, fam. Like I said, my dad just had a birthday, so I know I don't know if it's still Scorpio season or if it already changes Sagittarius season. I think I seen someone earlier say Sag. So hey, Sagittarius season, if it is officially, happy birthday, fam. I hope you enjoy. I hope you have a great birthday. I think a great birthday weekend. Hey, it's Wednesday. Go ahead and start that weekend early, fam. You got Thursday, Friday, and just, hey, man, you can start it early with a dub tomorrow when Cowboys get that yet again another home win. I hope you enjoy, fam. Definitely good to see you in the chat tonight. Yeah, everyone wish Lamla happy birthday. I hope you're doing very well, fam. Yep, it's looking like it. Yeah, man. I hope you enjoy, fam. Happy birthday. But yeah, like I was saying before, it's just good to see that McCarthy is making an effort to really get all of his playmakers involved. Like I mentioned with Turpin, and even getting Tolbert involved. It was crazy actually to see that play. Where it was supposed I think Tolbert was the target. And it actually, of course, bounced. I think the defender got his hand in there, bounced off his hand, and Brooks came down with the catch. So I just think that certain things happen when, when you're hot. Like we see, Patrick Mahomes make those crazy throws and, Kelsey make those catches. That's when you can tell their rhythm is catching. Or like this, a few weeks back when Dak made that crazy, random throw up and CD was there to catch it. That's how you know that their chemistry is growing, that they're just hot at that moment. So I just think that the chemistry within this offense is really just really hitting another level. Like you can tell that they're hitting their stride. They're really coming together to the identity. Everyone's catching on. Everyone knows, as you can kind of echo, it kind of echoes through the locker room. Everyone is doing their job. Everyone is where they're supposed to be. And I think it's just finally really clicking to where they really have a chance to take the offense to another level. And I don't know if you guys caught it at the beginning of the clip where Bill Jones, the interview right now, Bill Jones says that in the first half that the Cowboys only had 4 possessions and they scored touchdowns on 3 of those. So, and I even have here where, and I kind of noticed that, if you guys kind of noticed in the beginning of the season that, Cowboys will have long drives. They're trying to get the run game established. They would have, 60 to 70 play game. I think even the first couple of weeks, I think they had like an 80 play game or something like that. But in this Washington game, they only had 50 plays total in the whole game, 50 plays. And actually, Washington actually won the time of possession battle. They had the ball for 37 minutes. Cowboys had the ball for 23 minutes. So they do so much more with less in this game. And I think that's something that shows that they've kind of unlocked another part of this offense where that they can, number one, it shows that number one, they can do more with less. They can do more with less time. That they, like I mentioned earlier, if they just start early, attack early and often where they can score, get your playmakers, get them in the end zone, once. And I think that was good about the schedule. Like they were able to have those slew of games where they were playing lesser teams, but they were able to get their offense in order. They were able to actually finally come together. Like you saw, they were struggling in the beginning of the season. But that's when you have a new offense, everyone's trying to catch on. And, you see that with, they're all essentially rookies to this new game plan that McCarthy was coming into, and even he was new to it. So trying to take on being a head coach and a play caller, and at the same time, trying to get all your staff in on this new offense and your players. So if you can just imagine that, so, it's probably going to be, overlooked, what I'm saying, not as much recognized, but McCarthy is definitely doing the damn thing, along with Dak, he's playing his best year. But I think McCarthy is really just showing that, first he had to build the culture of the locker room, and now he's, doing his part as far as taking control of the offense and really just exhibiting what he wants to do. And, Schottenheimer's right there too, I'm saying, he's kind of inputting, what he, his ideas and what he thinks like certain playmakers can do at certain opportunities, and just them. And, we have Dan Quinn on the other side doing his thing. So it's just, we have, really just, I would say, high caliber coaching, coaching staff and players just finally coming together all in this one year. Let me see. Nisi says Mike hasn't gone through that IHOP menu of plays yet. And like, I'm glad you brought that up because, of course, like you mentioned last year, having play caller sheets for all his playmakers. And I'm sure, even though we're, pretty much in the meat of the season, I'm sure we haven't seen all the plays that he's wanting to call because, he, of course, he was conservative in the beginning of the season, but now he's finally able to get, kind of where he wants to be. You know what I'm saying? So it's good to see that he's actually, able to get in the stride with, what he wants his offense to look like. Yeah, exactly, Nisi. Yeah, Dak is being coached up, and as you can tell, Dak likes being, he loves being coached. I'm saying it's definitely doing him, very well. What's going on, sis? Etta Lockhart in the building. What's going on? Definitely good to see you. Definitely good to see you. Let me see. Okay, yeah, and actually, yeah. As we talk about offense, just talking about the offensive line stepping up. It's their 4th game together, and listening to Girls Talk, Boys Talk. Shout out to them. I love that show. I try to make sure listen to them at least once or twice a week because they always drop, just the best knowledge, just the best nuggets. Make sure you guys give them a listen. They're definitely one of my favorite shows. Shout out to Aisha Morrison, Jess Navarez, Nicole Hutchison. I believe Christy, Christy Scales, I believe. Make sure you guys give them a follow on Twitter as well, because they're always dropping, because they're the ones, they're the ones in the locker room. They're the ones, at the presser asking Mike McCarthy these questions, and getting these, and what I always know is that anytime they kind of ask a question, Dan Quinn or Mike McCarthy, and even in Schottenheimer as well, they kind of take their time answering, because they're always asking in-depth questions. So make sure you guys give those girls a listen. But yeah, like I said, they kind of mentioned that this is their fourth game, the O-line's fourth game together, and this is their third game without a sack. And even McCarthy has been saying that, Dak has been very well protected in these past few games. As you see, it's been effective. He's able to get the ball out. He's able to wait for these. And actually, there was a tweet. Let me see if I can bring it up. And I actually think let me see. Yeah, could have said that Dak has the most 20+ yards. Let me share this with you guys. I thought this was very important, because it's crazy. Like I had this friend who's a Giants fan, and he's always talking about how Dak can't make long throws, or this, that, and the third, and Dak can't throw downfield. But all of a sudden Dak just became, or his past couple games, Dak has the most 20+ yard completions. With 28, right behind them, C.J. Stroud with 25, and Brock Purdy with 24. So people used to say dink and dunk, or he can't throw down the field, or he can't make long passes. That's why we couldn't get Amari Cooper the ball, and this, that, and the third. But now all of a sudden he leads the league in most 20+. And it's funny, because just a couple of weeks ago it was CeeDee Lamb who's now leading the league in most 20+ yard catches in the league. He passed AJ Brown. So it's so it's actually so it's really no surprise. It would only be a matter of time. Because we see Brandon Cooks getting involved. Like I said, we see getting Tolbert involved. Making those. And now we're seeing Tony Pollard line up as a wide receiver. Getting passed at the backfield. So it's good to see him kind of getting his legs back underneath him, and kind of doing what he does best. He does very well at the backfield, catching passes as well, not just getting handoffs or not just running the ball. So, and we see Tony Pollard, kind of mentioned, as I mentioned down here, and we talk about the offensive line. Tony Pollard and even Rico, he saw the end zone with a screen that they ran, and Pollard saw the end zone once again. They actually said it was his first home touchdown. And I was actually surprised. And of course, we know a couple weeks back, I think it was against the Panthers, where he scored his first touchdown since week 1. So it's good to see that our running backs can now see the end zone again as well. The last couple of weeks, we've seen the wide receivers, kind of get their dues. We've been kind of seeing, kind of the different playmakers kind of getting their due different times in the season. We saw our running backs kind of get, the running game going in the beginning of the season, but we didn't see as many passes to CeeDee Lamb or Brandon Cooks, but now we're getting our playmakers involved, so now I think we're actually on the level where we can actually bring together, everything all at once. Now we can kind of set up, like say a lot of people saying, we can set up the run, and, I think it's going to have to be our identity going forward. We talked about that. Me and Star kind of talked about that, kind of off, through texting. But now, we're going to, start throwing to kind of set up the run. And now we can kind of bring everything together. Now we know what our playmakers can do, in certain situations. At the same time, we can also, start getting our run game going as well. And it was also a snippet, like I mentioned, with boys talk about Aisha Morrison says she spoke with Tyler Biadasz in the locker room, saying that the way they're able to get their blocks, he said that the way they do their duo and combo blocks give them leverage. Let me see if I can get the exact note. Yeah, she says that the duo and combo blocks allows the O-line to allows them to press the line of scrimmage, and it gives them leverage when you force the defensive lineman into the second level. And we're actually seeing that a lot with our offensive line. We're seeing that we saw just in this past game with Washington that Pollard was able to get the touchdown because Tyler Smith was able to get the block at the first level and then get to the second level, be able to open up that lane for Tony Pollard to get to the end zone. And, we even seen in the Panthers game, we saw what's his name? I'm sorry, Terrence Steele getting that double block, for Tony Pollard to go up the right side. And we also saw them revisit that same play with Tony Pollard. I think with Lipke getting the block, and they're using Hunter Lipke a lot. Getting him, getting involved in the blocking game. So they're definitely getting a lot, of the personnel involved, and we haven't even got to the defense yet. This is just how much the offense have opened up. Since since the bye week, since the 49er loss, since McCarthy realized that he doesn't have to, he could take the kid gloves off. He doesn't have to, be careful with this team. This team is mature enough. They have enough veterans, but also even the young guys have the veterans to learn from, not just the coaches. So this team is, was already mature enough to be able to, to handle the changes. Like, we were going to have this rough road of the transition, but, these guys are ready and mature enough to be able to take that on. And that's great news, Tavis. Yeah, Rico was a full participant today. Yeah, definitely happy to hear that. And actually, that you mentioned that, they said pretty much everyone was like a full participant. That Caden Hendershot was full. Like I said, they said that they weren't, sure if they were going to allow, open up his practice window. And everyone else, I believe Dante Fowler was on there as far as the illness. Michael Parsons as well. He returned, full participant. So it was good to see that everyone's, good, ready to go, against, for the Seattle game. And actually, I forgot to give a shout out to my fam, Dwayne Brown in the building. I think I was talking when you first came in the building, but definitely great to see you, fam. Definitely happy to see you. Thanks for joining us. And so like I was talk about the defense. They made big games, big plays. These past couple games. One thing that I did that I didn't notice, but one thing that shout out to Michael Gelkin, I don't know if you guys been following me long enough where you see I kind of point out his article, his Unheralded series, where he points out plays, from the offense, defense, special teams. He pointed out that Gilmore was able to reach 19 miles per hour when he was able to stop that big catch on 3rd and 1. At the goal line, I think it was going to McLaurin, because that was actually kind of one thing that kind of made me miss Diggs, again, just because he usually did, number one, we hadn't played Washington yet, and usually that's kind of the talk of the Washington game, Diggs versus Scary Terry and things like that. So I ain't gonna lie, seeing having us play Washington again, did kind of make me miss Diggs a little bit more, because I kind of missed that Diggs against McLaurin. So it was kind of weird. It was kind of weird to not see Diggs out there. So shout out to him. Prayers to him. Hope he's rehabbing. Very well. Hope he's able to come back. For a very strong next year. Let me see, new face in the building, switch hitter. He said, mine was a Detroit fan before we got married. Now I have pictures of her in the Dak jersey. Oh, okay. So I guess your wife was a Detroit fan. Oh, yeah. So I guess she changed us in time before we played in week 17. That's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. Dak and the Cowboys can definitely have that kind of influence. You know what I'm saying? So and she cheering for the right team, fam. Good to have you in the building. But yeah, so it's just like I said, it was good to see Gilmore make that play. I think it was, like I said, I think it was against McLaurin. Because that could have been a game changer. Because I think it was these plays came up in the 3rd quarter. So it was. I think they said that even though we were kind of scoreless, we were scoreless in the entire 3rd quarter. We actually held that lead to the 4th quarter, but for Gilmore to be able to make that stop, because that could have very well been a score. You know what I'm saying? Because Washington, they are able to move between the 20s, if you will. They are able to get to the red zone. But it's one thing, to get to as we know, it's one thing to get to the red zone, but are you effective in the red zone? So, and we were actually able to stop them. They were actually only able to get to the red zone against us, 2 times, and we were able to stop them once. As they kicked they scored a touchdown, kicked the field goal, and that was pretty much all the points that they had. So and also following up with that, the very next play, Osa had to stop, a 2-yard tackle for loss on the running back on the very next play. So for them, to be able to stop that drive, and potentially, keep points off the board especially against a team like Washington, was kind of growing into themselves, kind of trying to find their identity, because they definitely have the playmakers. It's just a matter of, they just got the enemy, so that, they're trying to get Howell, trying to get accustomed to him. So, him getting, they're, kind of them getting their game together, being able to stop that, I think, I think that's a good step. Yeah, Switch say I just subscribed to the channel. Love the content. Hey, appreciate you, fam. Thank you so much. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you. And actually, another point from Michael Gelkin's series, he points out that Chauncey Golston actually works on punt, field goal, and field goal block teams. And actually, if you guys remember early in the season, I don't know if it was week 1 or week 2, where we had that fake field goal that actually converted. I think 2 points it was. Or I think it was a fake field goal. And we actually went for a touchdown. It was actually Chauncey Golston who scored it. So, and they say that it's very rare for for one player to actually work all those teams. They say I think that a tight end can work. I think field goal and field goal teams, but they can't work field goal block. I think he said. But and they said it's very rare for a player to be able to play all 3 positions. So, shout out to Chauncey Golston, being able to not only get work on the defense, because he's showing up both defense as well, but also be able to work with other positions. We see that a lot with the Cowboys. We see a lot of flex position. You saw that with the O-line, guys being able to go from guard to tackle. You saw that with with Velasco. We saw that with the other guard. I think he went to IR for the rest of his I think his name is Josh. Yeah, Josh Ball. Yeah, we saw that with him. They're trying to flex him back and forth to see what he can do. So we see that a lot. We saw, Marquise Bell going from safety, to linebacker. So we see a lot of we see a lot of flex, position flex, on this team. Okay, so we said I think it was against the Patriots, when Chauncey. Okay. Yeah, I think that is about right. I think we did do that trick play against him. Yeah, that is. Yeah. You're definitely right, Double R. Congrats on the marriage. Yeah, that's definitely a good thing. Congrats to you, especially. Yeah, he definitely is. I don't know how he's doing right now, but actually, speaking of that, I wonder how Matt Waletzko was doing, because we haven't, ever since they're saying that they could open his window with Nashawn Wright. We really haven't heard much, after that, for Matt Waletzko. So I wonder if he's been improving or what he's doing, or along those lines. Let me see. Bruce says, my wife is a Saints fan. I don't care to convert her. She can cheer how she wants. We just watch separately, but the kids have a love for the star. Hey, I heard that, Bruce. I know that's right. Yeah, make sure the kids know what's going on. And really, unless they're playing us, the Saints is all right with me. They have a good defense, and I will always respect their defense. No matter what their offense is looking like. But I know that they ever have an offense, and as long as they have Taysom Hill, somehow, some way on the offense, they can do something. Because even Jameis Winston can produce over there. It's just a matter of play calling and what they can do in when their defense steps up. They can do some things. So, switch it to we named our first daughter Dallas. Oh, that is so sweet. Hey, good choice too. Good choice. Yeah, shout out to you and your wife, fam. Yeah, so and another point from this past game for Washington, Hankins had a 2-sack game, and they like I said, shout out to Girls Talk, Boys Talk. They said he hadn't had a 2-sack game since 2014. So I think that just like I said like before, just attributes to him being able to, number one, stay with the Cowboys. They chose to extend him coming back another year, being able to spend an entire off season, a training camp, and able to step up his game. To be able to have and he stepped up even though we, got beat pretty badly. He stepped up in the 49er game, in my opinion, as well. Because when I was out there, I saw him, batting down balls at the line of scrimmage. You know what I'm saying? Getting in the backfield, making those tackles. So having Hankins on, and especially to be able to bring Mozzie up at the same time, I think he's definitely done, and you see the kind of year Osa's having. I think he's really opened up Osa's lane. I'm not saying Osa needed any help, because Osa, is doing Osa things. I just saw a stat earlier saying that he gets the highest quarterback pressure rating in the league when he's getting double teamed. So, that doesn't even need explanation. You know what I'm saying? He's definitely doing the damn thing as well. So we see he's in his 3rd year, right alongside Dan Quinn. He's been there since he got drafted in 2021. So just seeing him progress every year, is really good to see. And shout out to the defense. I think it was the Panthers game that they actually had no penalties. I think we just have, mostly holding calls, or, I think I don't know if we had any pass interferences or anything like that, but it was mostly offensive calls, false starts, things like that. But I think we had one penalty also on special teams too. But but no penalties on the defensive side versus the Panthers. So that was, definitely a step up to see. And hopefully, I think this past game for the Washington, we had, I think, 7 penalties. So, for us to have below 10, that's really, for me, a step forward. So we can just keep going towards that, having less penalties, especially less self-inflicted wounds. You know what I'm saying, false starts, things like that, holding, especially things you can't control. You can't control, you can't control that. But we definitely got to be just aware of where we are. Things like offsides, neutral zone infraction, things like that. I think we had, a few of those in the 49er game. We definitely, just small mistakes. We can't have that. And once again, shout out to the defense. They haven't allowed a 100-yard rusher. They haven't allowed they haven't allowed a 100-yard rusher, but they have. I think this past game did allow 100-yard. I think to Curtis Samuel, he actually was able to actually get exactly 100 yards. Against it, which is kind of odd. For it to be exactly 100, but they were able to keep rushers under 100 yards individually. But one thing I will say, because I didn't notice, and actually shout out to my dad, because he actually noticed that in the second half when we were, watching the game, that, and I'm sure you guys saw too, when you guys were watching, like the Panthers and even Washington were able to get up and down the field. They're able to move the ball and, of course, through the run game, and if you guys look at the numbers, and individually, and really no individual rusher got over 50 yards, or actually I would say 60 yards. And actually, Sam Howell actually had to help out Washington, a little bit. I think he got 15 rushing yards. As you guys know, Bryce Young likes to scramble, every now and then. He's able to, move his feet. You know what I'm saying? So it takes, took 2 to 3 running backs, plus the quarterback, and we're definitely, and it's not like it's, that's not going to be a surprise, coming to for the Cowboys going forward. You know what I mean? We're going to see, like, as we know, the Seahawks coming up, who have 3 strong running backs, Kenneth Walker, DJ Dallas, and the new draft they have, the new draft pick they have, Zach Charbonnet. And, he's having a great year. I haven't been able to watch all of the games, but, even with Kenneth Walker, going down for a little bit, him kind of having to step up and take on that, that second running back role. And actually, I think he took up the starting role while DJ Dallas actually stepped up, second running back role. And, he had an impact in preseason, so I'm really not surprised to see Charbonnet stepping up into that role and being able to take it on. So we're definitely going to watch out for all 3 of them. I think Kenneth Walker is going to come back in this game. I think he actually came back this past week. I'm not sure. Like I said, I was only able to watch, I think, maybe the first quarter of the 49ers game last week, Thanksgiving. So I'm not sure if he came back last week. But I'm sure we're going to see them. And all 3 of them, they actually, as you guys know, they have the head weapon at wide receiver, DJ Metcalf. They're another draft pick they picked up, Jackson Smith and Jigba. They also have Jake Bobo that they can throw in. They have the tight end Noah Fant. Like they definitely have some weapons over there, and that's just the offense we're going to deal with. They definitely have some weapons on the defensive side as well. So this definitely can't be a game that we can sleep on. So I'm not sure we're going to be able to. I think we'll still be able to maintain that individual record, not allowing an individual rusher for 100 yards. But these running backs, if we go up, kind of up our run defense, they can definitely run, get up and down the field. Let's see, so you guys' comments. Okay, Jose Banks in the building. What's up, fam? How you doing? Good to see you. Yeah, very good. Hope you had a good holiday season, fam. Well, I hope you're having a good holiday season so far. Happy Thanksgiving. I hope, like I said, I know it gets busy out there for a lot of people. So hopefully it's not, too bad for you guys out there. I know it's, it's crazy how, even before and after the holiday, the traffic is still crazy. I just think it's I seen an article earlier and they just called it winter traffic because a lot of people are out shopping, traveling. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you guys are safe out. Like I said, make sure you guys are safe out there. Bundle up. Make sure you keep supplies on you guys. It gets dark early. It gets cold out there. You never know. Things happen. I just this past couple of days let out. Thank God I was just a couple miles from home, but I ended up getting like a flat tire. So make sure you guys always keep supplies on you. Like I said, flashlight, hand warmers, I'm saying gloves, extra pair of socks, things like that. And also work outside. So just make sure you guys, make sure you guys bundle up out there. Make sure you guys just stay safe. And Nisi says, why is that the defense can't stop at the 1 yard line? Every team has ran the same play at the one on us. Yeah, that's so true, Nisi. And I think that's something common in the NFL, but I just think I think that's tough. You know what I'm saying? And even if it's not like things like the tush push or anything like that, I just think that's just a hard play to kind of stop in general. But I think what we have to do, or what the Cowboys have to do, is to kind of get them in. I think it helps to get them in third and long situations. Kind of like we talked about when they played the Eagles. Trying to stop them from being able to get in a situation where they can do the tush push. Kind of get them in situations where they have to throw. Give them the threat of that pass rush. Making them throw, making them get to 3rd and 5, even 2nd and 10, 3rd and 7, things like that. Where you make it, where they can't rely on that automatic leverage of that 1 yard, but they can just because we do have a problem. We do have the Cowboys have a problem with third down conversion with 3rd and short. I think they've had a problem for a long time. Let me see. Double R says, what do you think about the Cowboys picking up? Oh, the guys, Leonard, Shaq Leonard, or Darius Leonard. Yeah, I think it would be amazing. I mentioned that earlier. Like, I think he would bring, a great veteran presence, to the linebacker room. Like we have, like I mentioned, we have that in other rooms. So I think just bringing that kind of experience, he was, I haven't really been, keeping up with him these past couple of years. So when people are saying that he wasn't when he used to be on the field, I'm not sure, because I know when I last really seen him play like that. I think I last seen him play maybe when I don't know if it was Andrew Luck or if it was Carson, where they had already got Carson Wentz and Matt Ryan by that time. But I know the last time I seen Leonard playing, he was still playing decent. His name was still ringing over there. And I think even though the team let him go, they still gave him like a standing ovation. I think over this past weekend. So he still has love for the team, and it's good to see that he definitely still has that that respect over there. But I think he can definitely bring, like I haven't mentioned here, I think he can definitely bring that veteran experience. As we've seen, Bell kind of had that stinger against Washington. So just kind of bringing, even as depth, you can't get mad at having, Darius Leonard as depth, in your linebacker room. We can afford him, I think. And they said that the Colts are on the hook for his contract. So, and even Jerry said, in his phone call when he called into 105 through the fan, that it wasn't a financial thing. It was more about health, and I think it was last reported that his health is relatively well. So, but so now I think they're saying today that he was visiting with the Eagles. So now it's just a matter of him making the decision over the weekend. So hopefully we're able to get him, because that would be crazy. I think that would definitely seal the deal for our team. For I ain't gonna lie. Switcher that says, how many pick six will Bland get this year? What is your prediction? Ooh, and that's crazy, because I'm going to bring that up while I'm talking about it, because I think that's just amazing what he's doing. Like, and I was just rewatching back the highlights of all five of his pick sixes, so far this year. And it's just, that's just amazing to do. And as you guys, and I don't know if you guys really watched it, but if you guys look at each progressive interception, it's further, the first one was like the 10-15 yard line, the next one was further, 20-30 yard line, the next one was 63, this past one was 63-yard return. So just seeing that he can, even from 63 yards, to still be able to have that much to be able to have that impact is crazy. I think that if he can continue on this trend, say, so we're on week 11, week 12. Someone help me out in the chat. What week? I know we had the bye week, so that kind of always throws me off. we're going against Seattle. So I think that's week 11. Yeah, it's going to help me out. But I think if he has, let's say, about 7 games left, even if he has 3 to 4, he can at least have 9 to 10 this year. Because I mean, it seems to happen, in every other game. And like I said, and they keep trying him. You know what I'm saying? Because he's going to be at the position that he's at. So if he can very well end the season with 9 to 10. So I'm going to go with 9, and I think that's kind of being safe a little bit. But I think he can have 9 to 10. By the end of the year. Yeah, Dallas, the way he's playing, he can have 7. There's 6 games left. Yeah, now he has 5. Let me see. Yeah. Let me say he needs to come here because of the medical staff. Nisha says his best pick was against the Panthers when he came from across the field. Yes, Nisha, and he had to tumble and flip. You know what I'm saying? And he's able to run back. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was definitely amazing. The way he's definitely playing amazing. This is week 13. Wow, it's really going fast. Let me check. I have it pulled up, just so I can make sure I'm on the right page because. Let me see. Okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, because we're 8-3, so this should be in week 11. Oh, yeah, week 13. Yeah, you're right, Lisa. Yeah, week 13. Yeah, the bye just always throws me off. Okay, yeah, so we're at week 13. Yeah, this is going by really fast. But yeah, so about 6 games left. Yeah, 13. See, yeah, about 5 to 6 games left. Yeah, and hey, there's playoffs. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So now I'm thinking about 7. Maybe sounds a little bit more reasonable if there's 6 games left. I'll still go for 9 because you know what I'm saying, like we're definitely gonna be going against some some higher caliber teams. I think the way our team plays, I think some of the teams are going to be throwing down the stretch, and even teams like Buffalo, Miami, they pass a lot. So I think we have a higher chance. Even the Lions. I mean, even the Lions. I think they say Goff had 3 to 4. I think turnovers. So I think he had maybe 2 interceptions. I think against the Packers last week. So these teams pass a lot. So I think that gives the potential for even more. See, Swisher says, do you think we'll be able to afford Diggs, Bland, CD, Dakota, Micah, D-Law, and Tyler? Oh, I think it depends because a lot of these guys come up for contract, at different times, because now we already have Diggs now, and really depends on the cap because the cap I think goes up, next year because Amazon and things like that, the cap goes up even higher. So I think we already picked up CD's 5th-year option. They still have the option to extend Dak and now actually make room for other players. You know what I'm saying? We do have Micah to think about. D-Law. I would actually see, I'm not gonna say team friendly deal because D-Law has been here for so long, but I think they would still, respect D-Law and that, to be able to offer him a fair contract and, kind of vice versa, he would be able to stay on. I wouldn't say team friendly, but I think they would know what to be able to offer D-Law. Like I said, the cap is gonna go up. They have the draft coming in, and not saying to replace these guys, and Tyler Smith. He just got drafted last year, so we definitely have a while before we have to think about Tyler Smith getting a contract. But definitely some things we do have to think about. But I mean, this would give me my thoughts. On other players, I think if we're not thinking about Tyler Smith, we got to think about Tyler Biadasz. If we're being honest, keeping on our center. Like I don't think. Just in my opinion, I don't think it would be smart to draft. I mean, I'm not gonna say it wouldn't be smart to draft a center, but Biadasz knows the scheme, very familiar with the offensive line and why replace, something you're trying to build. We have we have Tyler Smith, Biadasz, we have Awesome Richards coming along. You know what I'm saying? I would say instead of trying to replace Tyler, we have Tyler Smith maybe trying to draft a right tackle because obviously they're going to keep Tyler Smith at guard. You know what I mean? So, I think there will be other needs, but I think maybe I would consider keeping on Tyler Biadasz just to kind of maintain, because we have Steele, we just paid him. Zach Martin, we definitely got to think about getting a guard, but we do have TJ Bass, ready to take step up to that guard position if need be, depending because we just paid Zach Martin as well, so we do have him, depending on his health down the line, but. he's still relatively healthy. So I'm not really, like I said, some of these guys up here, I think we have time, just depending. Yeah, Tavis, yeah, I agree with you. We should draft the center regardless. Yeah. Yeah, because you never know. But I do like, like, just in my opinion, I do like the idea of just, kind of know, I'm not sure what he's going to be asking for, and I'm not really familiar with what center contracts look like out there. But, I think it'd just be just not something to consider keeping Beyonce on. Yeah, that's a good question too. That's really a question. If you're going to keep Tony Pollard, that's one. I'm not gonna say yes or no because I want to see this year play out, and I don't like looking that far ahead, especially when we're like in this kind of this part of the season. I like just taking in what's going on right now. But I mean, I wouldn't mind keeping TP. He's having a decent year. In my personal opinion, I don't think that in the beginning McCarthy was using him properly, but now that he's getting back to using Pollard how he should be used, we're starting to see him, kind of emerge, not emerge, but kind of, come back as the Pollard as we knew him to be before, being at that kind of change of pace. So, that's that, kind of the way that they were kind of forcing him up the gut early in the season. I just don't think he was being utilized right. We just, but now we're starting to see the emergence of Rico and Pollard, kind of come together. So it's good to see that. So I wouldn't mind keeping on Pollard, but it really would just, I want to see how the season plays out, before we even start talking about, contract and things like that. Tavi says, bye, Tony. Yeah, I feel you on that. I'm, like I said, I'm not even, don't worry about what's going on. I worry about contracts at the end of the season and after we win the chip, things like that. Let me see. But yeah, like I said, I want touch on the culture right quick before I get out of here. I just like how we're just kind of developing young players, and not just young players but also talented players. We bring in guys from USFL, XFL. As we see, we just brought in Martavius Bryant. Turpin is doing, like I mentioned earlier, doing great things for us. He came in from USFL, and him being able to have a full off season, full training camp. He's been able to, continue, doing what he's doing, contribute to the team. Like Mike McCarthy said, just being able to, kind of make that conversion back to wide receiver, because he was MVP for wide receiver in USFL. You know what I'm saying? So just being able to get back to what he, what he's used to. You know what I'm saying? Have a good night, Devil Lord. Thank you for joining us tonight, man. Good to see you. Thank you so much. Yeah, Dwayne says you might be right, Tavis. Too bad they wait to realize what they had in them. Yeah, it's really, that's kind of, I guess I would say that I agree. That's kind of where I am, Dwayne Brown, especially, and even goes back to when we had Kellen Moore. Like even back then, those years back, they never really used, TP to his full potential. But it is good to see that, that he's kind of getting back to what, Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right, Bruce. I did kind of forget about him. Brandon Arbridge from USFL. Yeah, that's facts, man. Thank you so much for that. Yeah. The fact that they got him too from USFL, and he was playing soccer before, you know what I mean? So it's good that they're able to develop these players, even coming from different environments, and and be able to gel them with players, who are already playing in the NFL, and be able to blend that smoothly. You know what I'm saying? And like I mentioned earlier, being able to keep on Dan Quinn, that was definitely a key piece. Be able to maintain the continuity, with not only just the defense, but also that connection with the offense as well. The trust, allowing your play, and the players mention this a lot, allowing them to see their own bed, giving them more time with their family for the home games. We have this home stretch coming up, 3 home games in a row before they do go on the road for those, late in December games. And, we kind of used to have that around, or the Cowboys used to have that around, Thanksgiving time. So I'm sure that kind of, number one, that gives them the rest, and number two, that kind of gives them a motivation. Like I said, like I mentioned earlier, these past few games, they've been able to build the offense, but at the same time, able to rest, if you will, right now at home for the next 3 weeks before they do have to start traveling. So it's just good to, at the same time, they kind of built this kind of aura in the locker room, but at the same time, I would say physically, in the locker room, where they're playing the offense, things like that. But at the same time, mentally, they're actually offering the players a way to, to relax, to be able to spend that family time, to have that time to relax, to take their mind off football for a little bit. Also the same thing with the mental health amongst the players. When they mentioned when Jordan Lewis was coming back from his injury, they told him, they made sure he was staying in touch. They told the same thing with Demo, DeMarvion Overshawn, to make sure that he stayed in touch. All the, other guys, even Diggs. He mentioned when he came back for his interview, they told him to stay in touch to make sure that, because that was a big part of when Jay Lou was out with his injury. So it's good that they show that they care about their players. You know what I mean? Let me see. Tavis says, Braylon Allen, running back out of Wisconsin, is a workhorse, and he's 19 years old. He would declare the draft, and we love Wisconsin players. Ask Travis and Tyler. Yeah, I heard that. Hey, I like that too. Amen. It's definitely good to build up that running back room. I wouldn't be mad at that at all. But yeah, like I mentioned, like them, and like I mentioned earlier with the across the hall, and then being able to connect the offense and defense. I think that being able to have that foundation amongst the players. You know what I mean? I think that, and they have. Just like I said, in my opinion, the foundation amongst the coaches is what is building that foundation amongst the players. They're able to trust each other, to know that, they've been through this before. Schottenheimer has been in this situation, with being with Seattle. Quinn with, being with, same thing with being with Seattle, being with Atlanta, and McCarthy being with Green Bay. Like, they've been a part of these different type of organizations where they're able to bring that experience, and especially to bring the experience from those type of organizations into the Cowboys organization, and to be able, if you will, essentially blend those into one organization, to be able to take, these caliber of players, and to be able to build something that we haven't seen really seen, Jerry embrace, what I'm saying, and to be able to allow, Mike McCarthy to, finally be able to do what he wants, if you will, with play calling, with the culture in the locker room, things like that. And he's building, these players' confidence. Like, he's building, at the same time, while like you said, he's installing. So now he's getting to call. And also, just kind of one thing I wanted to mention, that he's planning ahead. And I think he mentioned in one of his press conferences that he was planning for this stretch of games, as far as the practice schedule, how the reps and things like that, the rest days, things like that. He was playing that even before the Carolina game. So it showed just how much he's invested in these players, and not only their playing, but also their well-being, off the field as well. So yeah, I just, like I said, I just think that the culture of this team right now, I think, is the foundation of what has gotten this team, well, right now, so far in the season, to where they are. Like I said, being able to trust in each other, knowing that where they are right now, they've gotten this far because the work that they put in. We see what they put in that, at training camp, and even the beginning of the season, when they weren't happy with what they were seeing, they kept going. They kept trying to get, certain people involved. Brandon Cooks, Jalen Tolbert, now and Kamate Turpin. And so even Jalen Brooks, getting his time when Brandon Cooks went out for a game. Seeing him, being able to get, his, getting his step going, getting his confidence up in such a short amount of time. And now he's making, I'm sure a catch he didn't expect, in the Washington game, and just being able to kind of get that spark and keep that spark going amongst the team. I'm saying it is, I think it's really improving. Number one, the offense, and I think, finally seeing the offense, kind of make it stride, just only it makes the defense better. Because the defense was all, not saying we didn't have any questions about the defense, because now they're, starting to show things they need to improve. But they're still doing their thing. They're starting to get back to the turnovers. Recovering fumbles. They're getting Blaine is getting interceptions. They're getting back to what we know what the defense is, and they're stepping up with the run game. As far as keeping individual rushers down underneath 100. But we definitely have to keep our eye on these teams coming up, because they have multiple rushers who can and will try to get who can potentially will try to get the job done, but. If be able to shore up that run defense, like if we are able to bring in Leonard, that would be great. But of course, just focusing on the squad we have right now. But because Clark is he's still the ball the ball hawk he was last season. Excuse me. He had 50 tackles, and he was coming off neck surgery last year. So to be able to get 50 tackles, to be able to make that much of an impact in half a season, and we've seen he's these past few weeks he's been topping the tackling charts, along with Bell. I saw a beautiful article Shout out to Nick Harris. If you guys aren't following him on Twitter or X, make sure you guys follow him. He had a great article about how Bell and Clark pretty much compete with each other on the field. You know what I'm saying? They make each other better. They work together. Clark said, he stood, like I said, he stood at ball hog. He was able to find the running back. You know what I'm saying? Kind of do that kind of gritty work, trying to just kind of, maintain that second level. And as we know, Bell is great, in pass defense. He makes those tackles for losses. He's able to get after the running back as well. And sometimes even the quarterback. So just seeing that these guys are competing with each other, but all like they're like I said, they're making it about the team. It's about making the team better. So, and all these guys have, we're seeing Wanye, it's just, so many guys on these teams, it's really hard to get, to everybody that's making an impact. We're seeing Wanye get involved. I've seen him have, I think, a pass defended against Thomas on the Washington team, the tight end. So it's just great to see all these guys, get involved, showing their talents, just knowing that, and we still have, like they're saying that, the third trimester left of the season, they're still having time to be able to, continue on their stride. And I think once it all comes together, I think it's really going to unlock something really special with this team. I just think that, they're having the year that they're supposed to be having, where things are seeming to come together. I think that it's going to continue, I think they're going to continue to do great things, and it all starts tomorrow, with Thursday night football. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, that's pretty much all I have for my show. I really thank you guys for showing up, showing out. Thank you, like I said, for spending Wednesday afternoon. Like I said, make sure you guys keep the notification buttons on. Me and Star are gonna try to come through this Friday evening with a show for you guys. Give our reaction to the Seattle game. See how our boys do. And after they get this dub at home, once again. It's going to be a tough team, to play against, but, hey, they're going to do their thing. I think, like I said, I think Mike McCarthy is going to maintain, keep staying in his bag, maintain his play calling, in smart individual situations. That's one thing, hopefully we'll be able to touch on, with me and Star in our show. That's one thing I want to see, starting with tomorrow's game and going forward. Like, what are the Cowboys going to do in these potential playoff situations? Like, what are they going to be the reactions when you do, like someone mentioned earlier, when you do have a team, because this is pretty much what's going to happen. When you do have a team who's 3rd-and-1, you're trying to stop that, that conversion, that 4th-and-1. It don't have to be Philly. It don't have to be, it can be Buffalo, because they convert. You know what I'm saying? It can be Miami. It could be. It could be Detroit. They have running backs too. You know what I'm saying? They have, I think it's Jahmyr Gibbs. They have, they have David Montgomery. You know what I'm saying? Who's doing his thing? Shout out to him this year, because I know he's still kind of a little bit banged up. But he's still doing his thing this year. So we definitely got some running backs coming up down the line. You know what I'm saying? And so we definitely got to make sure run defense was shored up. Make sure that like I think it was Lisa who said it earlier. Like when we get in those 3rd-and-1 situations, like we got to learn, because I think it was good. I think it was the Washington defense who did it, but we did see Washington stop the tush push, and I think they got a fumble on that same play. So it's not, they like to say it in the broadcast when they play, it's impossible to stop and you can't stop and things like that. I think that's of course that's what they want. And we even see the Eagles, we even see, I call them the Pigeons, but for live purposes, I will call them the Eagles this one time. But we even see them adjusted. What we seen, it's crazy because you've seen Philly, like I said, we've seen Washington get the fumble on that play. And then when Philly had to come back with the game-winning drive, they got into the formation that like they were about to do the tush push. But then they did the fake, and then they tossed it to the running back, out the backfield, and he ran the touchdown. So you see how quick they're able to adjust. So that's what we have to be ready for, not just with Philly, but with the other teams coming down the stretch, because that's what playoff teams do, like, period. Like, they get into the moment, they see something doesn't work, and they adjust. And that's one thing I like about the Cowboys. We're starting to see that they're adjusting. They're starting to, bring other playmakers in the mix. They're bringing these young guys up. They're bringing the Wanyes up. I'm saying? They're bringing the Lipkeys out, into the blocking game to get these guys used to these reps. We mentioned that, early in the season, just getting these young guys ready for these moments, because these moments, are going to happen, and pretty much are going to start happening now, going forward with these playoff teams that we stand to go against. So, like I said, thank you for you guys' time. Thank you for joining me. Like I said, keep your eyes out for me and Star coming hopefully later on this week. And I hope you guys have a great rest of the evening. Like I said, keep enjoying, your holiday season. Make sure you guys stay warm out there. It's getting cold. Make sure you have the right shoes on. Wear your gloves on. I'm starting to sound like a mom, but make sure I have my guy sister here over here for Thanksgiving. I'm just always trying to make sure she's good. So just make sure you guys just, stay healthy, stay warm. Hope you guys have a great rest of the night. Thank you for joining me once again. Enjoy your night.